Good morning, everyone. I used to teach in a school 5 minutes down the road, and we used to have our end-of-year celebrations here. So it's quite nice to be back, but with slightly less scary an audience than a group of young people. We've been asked to frame today, and certainly from my perspective, we cannot be serious about really transforming the future of our country and securing a stronger, more prosperous, more united country if we're not serious about transforming the lives of our young people. Our young people have faced huge challenges, not just over the last 3 years, but over the last decade. We have seen child poverty skyrocket, we have seen mental ill health escalate, we have seen social mobility stall, and our politics is failing to address their needs. Young people are more pessimistic about the future than ever before. They feel less confident about their country than ever before, and they feel less confident about their democracy than ever before. Our politics trivializes the challenges that they face. So we end up with ridiculous conversations about the housing crisis being due to too much coffee consumption or avocado consumption. Discussions about snowflakes. Our young people being too focused on sensitive issues rather than the key issues that they really should be caring about. But if we are to transform our country, if we are to transform their lives, we need to be the ones who are asking the difficult questions, who are considering what the role of technology should play within our education system, transforming it so that it focuses on the knowledge and the skills that young people need. That we are the ones who are focusing on how we tackle the mental ill health crisis. How we are the ones who are focusing on not just their appetite to transform society, their desire for greater social and environmental justice, but enabling them to do that in a way which can lead to change, where they feel empowered as an active, engaged group of citizens. That has to be our challenge. If that's not at the center of how we're thinking about reinvigorating our country, then we won't go very far.
Thank you. I would love to see, show of hands, how many of you have ever felt anxious in the face of the climate and ecological crisis? 70% of the young people in the UK feel deeply anxious. Globally, over 56% of young people believe that humanity is doomed. These feelings don't just stem from the enormity of the crisis that my generation has inherited, but a decades-long history of inaction in the face of it. We are raised to place our faith in institutions we're told are there to protect us and to safeguard that future. And yet, when we ask to go to the polls, we are so often expected to choose between a climate change denier and a seasoned procrastinator. We know too well how good decision makers have become at being fluent in making commitments scheduled far enough into the future that they require no immediate action. Now, we know for all life on this planet, for the young people inheriting this crisis, for the working class communities across the UK who have systematically been left behind, for the Black and brown communities who are already living through increased urbanization, air pollution. We know that there is no hope in another 10 years of incrementalism. We need disruption, and we know that we're not going to get that from the people and thinking that created this crisis. We need bold and courageous leadership. We need it from the people who have been excluded from the decisions that are governing our future. We need leaders willing to champion a just transition, willing to take up arms for a Green New Deal, are willing to end subsidies that are keeping alive broken food and energy systems, who are willing to challenge themselves, who are willing to challenge the incumbent power structures that benefit from the system staying exactly as it is. Technology will not save us. We need to save ourselves. Thank you.
So, I'm sure some people in this room won't thank me for this, but it's important to bear in mind. At the next general election, there are going to be voters who were 4 years old when the Conservatives came into power and 10 years old when the Brexit referendum was held. This is a generation coming of age at an inflection point, not just for the UK, but for the world as a whole. And it's a generation that deserves a new plan. We're nearly a quarter of the way through the 21st century, and still we seem to keep falling back on a lot of 20th century geopolitical thinking. We're looking for as close a relationship as possible with the EU from the outside, a return to the peak of the special relationship. And if there's anything that we've learned from Russia's invasion of Ukraine, it's that there's still absolutely a place for these core alliances. But it strikes me that there's still something big missing from this. Surely there's something more exciting out there than just being a slightly less valuable partner to our traditional allies. Because whether it's in tech, in culture, in military, in science, academia, rule of law, the UK still enjoys massively outsized influence. But we can't count on this to stick around forever. We need to be asking ourselves right now, what is it that we can offer the world that the superpowers, China and the US, can't or won't? The UK is never going to be able to lead by size, but it can lead by example, especially at a point where both China and the US are increasingly busy looking inwards. This will mean being realistic about our limitations, but also getting creative about how we use our very real assets. And most of all, it'll mean being a proactive partner and a source of support to the middle powers and the developing countries that will soon be calling the shots. So, the point of today is to hopefully open up a conversation about what it would look like for Britain to get ahead of the curve. What does a plan look like? Not just on geopolitics, but on climate, on tech, on equality of opportunity. That means when we have this conversation again, halfway through the century, we're doing it and we're standing on the front foot this time. Thank you.